Your business name can get you denied and or a lower credit limit based off your business name, meaning high-risk industries, liquor stores, beauty shops, real estate. Sometimes can get you a lower credit limit or denied if there's too many red flags with that compliance checklist. So those are foundational pieces.
You're listening to The Azria Show. If you're looking for quality real estate investing information that you can trust, you've found it. Stay tuned and join the tens of thousands of members that have already benefited from Azria, your home for education, market information, support, and networking opportunities that will advance your real estate investing career.
Hello, great state of Arizona and our Azria family and listeners. Welcome to another episode of the Azria Show. I am your host, Marcus Maloney, and we have our co-host, Executive Director Mike Delpreet.
Hello.
And today we'll be talking about business credit. I know a lot of you guys see this information all across Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and about how people are using their business credit to go and buy, business supplies, watches, cars, everything like that. Now, we don't advise you to go and buy watches and cars with your business credit, but we have Darryl here, Darryl Johnson, who's going to show you exactly how to be empowered and how to use business credit strategically, to increase your net worth. So how you doing today, Darryl?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. I know you don't advise people to go and buy watches, maybe vehicles, but not watches.
Exactly. Asset producing. We want to add to the bottom line versus subtract from the bottom line.
Love it.
So even kind of starting there, man, financial literacy should someone have even just getting started with business credit, because it's a lot different than personal credit.
100% different, apples and oranges. And I tell people, YouTube is always not your friend. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, always not your friend. And the big thing, let's just say this, why I started Business Credit Works. I was a loan processor in our housing crisis there in Phoenix, doing loss mitigation, short sales, and foreclosures. And we had to read the hardship letters. We stopped reading them in the office because families were really going through it. So when I was looking for a business to start, I wanted to do a couple of things: stay in my lane, which was operations and credit and lending, and give any financial institution more data to analyze. Credit score speaks to credit worthiness. And most importantly, my closest to my heart is to protect families, protect business owners. And usually after a workshop, people come up to me and go, "Where were you 3 businesses ago or 4 businesses ago?" No one explained it to me, the benefits of it and why it's helping or hurting me.
Yep. So true. And a lot of people, they have that misperception of, you always have to have that personal guarantee, in order to do business, in order to get business credit. Let's kind of clarify some of the misperceptions, between the two.
Yeah, urban legends.
Yeah.
And what the disclaimers on YouTube. So with business credit, the one that I get all the time is the personal guarantee. In some cases, it's not a bad thing to personally guarantee the business debt, okay? Especially if it's coming from a lending institution like a bank. Because what they won't tell you is once you build that relationship, either 6 months to a year, every lending institution has their different guidelines. That personal guarantee, 9 times out of 10, will go away because you have established a relationship with the lending institution, okay? And or your next credit card you get from that lending institution might not have a personal guarantee at all because once again, you have a relationship already. Okay. I tell people, don't be concerned about the PG, only if you plan on, using business credit incorrectly with the recourse of bankrupting the entity. But it's not a bad thing, depending on certain circumstances. And when you get over to the lending side, the money side of things.
Okay. So what are some of those other misconceptions or misperceptions that people have about business credit that you always have to clarify? What were some of those that people just don't seem to understand?
Well, another one I'll get right out the gate is I want to buy a car or buy a property in my business credit. Okay. The next question I ask is, okay, great. How long has your business been established? Is it an LLC, S Corp, C Corp? Tell me a little bit more about your business. Well, I haven't started it yet. So I have to explain to them how you bought your car. The first thing they did is pull your personal credit.
Right.
Then they looked at your W-2 money or self-employment money to see if you personally could qualify for it. Same logic applies on the business side of things. The first thing they're going to do is pull your business credit, get that credit score. Next is going to look at your revenue, basically. So your business has to qualify for that. So that's a big thing. People right out the gate, they've heard and seen on YouTube and talked to other people. Well, you can buy your car in business credit, and you can do that, but you first have to have that score and revenue to show that your business can support that debt.
Gotcha.
So what are the some of the fundamentals that you need to have to grow your business credit?
Good question. We call it the compliance checklist. Things that algorithms now, because anymore it's databases talking to databases. For example, your business name can get you denied and or a lower credit limit based off your business name, meaning high risk industries, liquor stores, beauty shops, real estate sometimes can get you a lower credit limit or denied if there's too many red flags with that compliance checklist. So those are foundational pieces: business name, business phone number, business email address. And a lot of people will have a Yahoo or a Gmail account. An example I would use is, how many businesses that you know of has a free email account? And people, this make people think, you're right. And would you feel comfortable doing business with a company that has a free email account? So from a risk perspective, all the lenders know is what we can validate in databases. So the Secretary of State's database, when you sign your tax returns, right underneath your signature line, you're saying this is true and factual information. So now the IRS will update in their database the address on record of your most current tax return. So what will happen is when you apply for credit, the IRS database talks to the Secretary of State's database to validate information, one meaning being your business address. And if your business moved, you do a change of address just as you do when you move homes, okay? It's more important for everything to match as you're going fulfilling applications out in your business's name, and this can get you denied. Say, for example, on the Secretary of State, you registered as LLC, but on the application you're applying for credit, you forgot to put the LLC.
Oh, wow.
That's a red flag. Your home. How many times have you messed up on your home address?
Yeah, often.
Yeah, I respect that from you, Marcus. But that's how lenders look at it. It's kind of like, yeah, you should know the basics of your company. The next will be address. Where is your business located? And people will say a P.O. box.
Right.
And the next question I will ask is, hey, Marcus, can you loan me $2,000? And I give you a P.O. box, a cell phone number, and a Yahoo email account to find me.
Only if I could put a tracker on me.
With electric shock.
Right. Because like you're saying, with that, nobody knows you're not real because
you're a ghost.
Is virtual.
You got it. You're a ghost.
Right.
And how comfortable would you be lending me money? Now you're asking a lending institution to give you a line of credit in your business's name, and we can't find you or validate you. You don't look legit.
Right. Absolutely.
So those are some basics and the big ones, the home address, the phone number, and you can use a cell phone number, okay? Before COVID, it was kind of frowned upon, but COVID changed the ball game where now they're okay with using a cell phone number or a VoIP system,
Okay.
okay? And especially if you've got more things saying the positive versus having a cell phone number
Right.
compensating factor. There's more positive versus the negative. So, okay, a few errors on the application are okay, but too many is going to be to a no.
Got it.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
we gave some tips on, some basic fundamentals of which I'm sure we'll circle back around to. But let's maybe talk about, the benefits of business credit for real estate investors
Oh,
or
it's
any business.
exactly, because it's not just investors. Because my background is mortgage loan processing in the residential world. For years, I've been doing that, but I started getting into more into the businesses because in that scale and growing, because you access the credit, and I'll get pushback. I should say sometimes people push back because they don't want to. I don't want to, get credit. I don't like credit. I don't like credit. I want to use my cash. Say, well, you're trying to scale and grow your business. I say, yes. And I go back to, how did you buy your house? Credit.
Mm-hmm.
Because you had afford to have bought your house or your car if you didn't have credit.
Right.
Credit allows your business to scale and grow. Without that credit, you're just going to have enough cash to make you angry because you can never get over that hump. Okay? When you access the credit, that allows you to scale and to grow. And then we can use one example. We've got one program with the up to 150K in 0% interest corporate credit cards. So if you needed to put down 10K as earnest money deposit, you can use a company called Melio. Melio lets you pay any vendor with a credit card. So you can say Melio, and they charge 3.9%, by the way, to do the deal. Melio, use this corporate credit card to wire, send a check. You tell them how you want it sent to ABC Title Company. So they'll take the credits right off your corporate credit card at 0% interest, wire it onto the title company. Now that debt is sitting on the company, the corporate credit card, and not your personal credit card, and your cash is still in the bank.
Right.
Because what I love about this is, as investors, right? We might, in order to get a rehab done, we might get a credit card. We'll leverage our personal credit, right? So what if that rehab goes wrong? What if so a disaster happens, right? So now you got this $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 bill on your personal credit. You got all your, absorbing all your credit that you have available, and your credit score is going down. And then let's just be straight. Some of us just don't have credit to even have that opportunity to leverage personal to do real estate. So I love the fact that you do the business, you build the business side. And was it Melio?
Melio, Melio.
So I have, credit cards, and, in Cleveland, you can get houses under 50,000 or whatever. Right. So I was like, before I met you, I was like, hey, I'll call the title company. Hey, can I swipe this, buy this little house, a little junker? And they're like, no, you're crazy. That's impossible, But yeah, now I know through that Melio, you got to pay a fee, right?
Well, but 4%, it's not bad.
But it's just another way to leverage it. Us as real estate investors, we're always about other people's money, other people's resources, other people's knowledge, other people's everything. And this is just a great way to, once again, add another tool to our toolbox.
Exactly. And there's another company called Plastique that also does that same. I like Melio a little bit better though.
Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
What else? What are some of the other benefits, Darryl, of having that business credit?
Company car, company truck, company van.
Mm-hmm.
You can, once you get a Dun & Bradstreet Paydex score, then you can qualify to purchase a company vehicle. Because the goal is, and you guys know, I work for a wealth management bank where these people are actually buying properties in their trust and having multiple LLCs. The goal is you live in your company, leave your personal credit and assets alone.
Mhm.
That's where we want to get to. is to have everything in the company and utilize that versus, utilizing it or leaving your personal credit for emergencies for the family,
Right.
not emergencies for your business or to grow your business. The other advantage is these are business credit cards. So based on your tax basis, it's a tax write-off. Second of all, rewards, points, airline miles, you rack them up fast because we're dealing with, $10,000, $20,000 on a credit card. So you're racking up those points and mileage very, very fast. So right there, you're getting free vacations off of your normal business practice, and you're not putting your family at risk. The other benefit is if you have to use your personal credit card for a deal, you basically doubled your buying power. So for example, if you got a corporate credit card with $10,000 credit limit, now you've got a business credit card, a personal credit card with 10,000. You've got $20,000 for your project.
Right.
So it's just about creative financing and another tool in the toolbox to take down these properties that we want and do it without putting your family at risk.
And I know that hey guys, I'm raising my hand. I'm completely guilty because in the real estate world, what do a lot of people say? Hey, you know what? Just figure it out. Whatever you got to do, get it done. And that was the mentality that I always had. Hey, you know what? This is a great deal. I know it's a great deal. You know what? Maybe I don't have, the business to leverage. Okay, well, I'm just going to leverage my personal credit, get whatever I need, and then pay it off on the back end. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of, almost 95% of the listeners have done that in one form or fashion. So I know I'm not by myself. And I speak of this because, yes, if I would have had the education about business credit and established that earlier, I wouldn't have the personal debt on credit cards, going to Home Depot, using my ASRIA discount. Guys, make sure you use your ASRIA discount.
You got it. Yep.
Using that ASRIA discount, but then saying, all right, well, let me just put it on my personal credit card. And once the flip is over, I'll pay it all off. But this is a totally different way to do it.
Not to mention, it takes you off that roller coaster ride of your personal credit. Good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. Your credit score is dropping. It takes you off that roller coaster. Just get it on the company to begin with and keep your personal credit strong for your family if needed.
And can you just kind of dive in, just for those that might not know, you mentioned the Dun & Bradstreet. What is that? Compare that to our personal credit. What is that?
Definitely. Dun & Bradstreet, and I tell people I didn't invent business credit. It started with D&B, Dun & Bradstreet, back in about 1800s. And actually, they started on the retail side of things, not even the business side of things, as just keeping track of people's payment experiences. So Dun & Bradstreet has a 9-digit number, which, by the way, is free. But Dun & Bradstreet is gangsta. When you call them up, they'll lead you to believe that free number will take 60 days to get it. But for $250, we can expedite it for 14 days. And actually, they were taken to court for some of their practices. So just a heads up, they said they're gangsta. Yeah. And they used to sell their old information to Experian and Equifax. So, but I said that number is a free number. And before you even call them, because once you're in their database, it's like a deer and they got you in the site now, you can do a Dun & Bradstreet number lookup to see if your number already exists. So you wouldn't have to even talk to Dun & Bradstreet. You can just look up to see if your number exists for your company already. Okay. But if you have to talk to them, know that number is free. And it's certainly up to you if you want to pay extra to get it done faster. But typically, if you don't pay, it's still going to come to you within 7 to 10 business days.
Got it. So just like regular credit, I'm assuming there's good credit, there's bad credit, and there's probably no credit. So when you have a new number, you fill it out. Like, how do you start to look good for, bankers?
And that's where it starts with that credit score.
Mm-hmm.
Just having a credit score. And not to mention that Dun and Bradstreet also is used in the government contracting space and business insurance and bonding insurance, because that underwriter is going to look for any positive information to underwrite that file and give the best rate and term as possible. But if the score is not there, if things don't quite fit to a good rate and term, you're not going to get there when it comes to insurance or even lending. And not to mention that Dun & Bradstreet's credit score is used for SBA loans. And SBA does loans you can purchase a building using SBA products, and also to working capital with SBA loans, equipment financing. So business credit is just not for real estate, but since my background is real estate, and when I came to the first ASREA event, I was hooked. And I got to be a part of this and became a member. Before that, I was in just businesses. So I'm the first and only DBE and MBE certified business credit company. And that just allows me to play in that government contracting space, to work with the J.E. Duns and Turners, the big boy companies and their contractors when they get the government contracts.
No, yeah. I was like, so what are some things like a newbie would do, right? They fill out their Dun Bradstreet, like, how do they get a good score?
Next step is the compliance checklist. We want to confirm that you are structured correctly. And that's one of our core programs on the website. Business Credit Works, one of the core programs. We're going to take a look at your phone number, your email address, your business name. We're taking inventory of how you're structured. We will make recommendations with the credit codes that are in place to make recommendations, but it's up to you to take it or not take it. Because with COVID, it has changed how these vendors look at a file now. So like I said, a lot more positive versus the negative. You still might get approved or get approved for a starter account, a lower limit, and then you make the payment, build that relationship. The credit limits increase on their own. Unlike the consumer credit world, where we have to call in, I want a credit line increase, and what's your W-2 money? What is pull a soft credit pull to see if you qualify for a personal line increase. As you're using your corporate credit cards and they see that you're maxing them out each month after month, they're like, if they had access to more credit, they would use it.
Right.
So they're going to increase it on their own, especially if you're paying your bills before the due date. Because I tell people, if you pay it just on time, you get a just on time credit score. But if you pay it 7 to 10 days before it's due, that's where you can get a better credit score.
Wow. Okay. So that's some really good information there that we definitely need to make sure that we stay abreast of, because I didn't know much about any of this prior to speaking with Darryl. And I look up, business credit, and that's all they were showing were 25, 26-year-olds pulling up in Ferraris with Rolexes on, saying, I did this with my business credit. Well, here at ASREA, we definitely don't want to encourage anything like that. We want you to use your business credit for securing more assets to increase your passive income and your net worth, so then you can in turn give and help other people throughout your life, and to create that generational wealth. So that's good that Darryl is on explaining and talking to us about all of this information. So we're going to take a brief break, hear a word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Are your real estate dreams on hold? With work, kids, everything else going on, time is limited. Most days you feel like the world's on your shoulders. You might even say to yourself, if I just had someone to lean on and push me in the right direction, I know things would happen quicker. Well, then you need to check out the Deal Finders Club, a community of investors eager to close more deals, sign more contracts, and just get ahead in life. The DFC provides weekly coaching, thriving online community, and all the education you need to be confident. DFC is your fastest path to closing more deals. To learn more, head over to azdfc.com. That's azdfc.com.
All right, guys, we are back with Darryl Johnson, and we're talking about business credit. and he's the owner of Business Credit Works. And he's explaining to us, how to get business credit so we don't have to tie up our personal credit as investors, doing fix and flips, putting down earnest money deposits, doing rehab costs and everything like that. So Darryl, during the break, you were talking about the credit rating system, because it's a little bit different than personal credit rating system. How does that work, and what should we be aware of?
With the credit rating system, how you build a credit score, first of all, let me say everything you know about the credit rating system is the retail division, the 5 circles. So I'll throw that out the window. How you get a good business credit score is you get the number of trade lines. So every trade line, every credit card, every net 30 account, that's a trade line. That builds your credit score, and the paying the invoice 7 to 10 days before it's due gets you a higher credit score. Okay. So that's how you build that credit score. And we use what's called a Dun & Bradstreet Paydex score, for example. And that one's based off of 100 down. So if your business has a 90 Paydex score, that means your business has excellent credit. And that's actually the 90 Paydex score is what they look for when you go to purchase your company vehicle.
Okay.
So, but that's what we're looking for, is a Paydex score. And to see if your business has a Paydex score, there's a website called nav.com, NAV.com. They've got 2 versions of it. One is a free version that will give you a grade. Okay, you put your business information in there. They might ask you to validate using your social security number and or driver's license. They will make sure it's you, the actual owner, that's trying to get access to that. Then once you get in, they'll give you a grade. So everybody starts off with using an F or a D, and it just means the bulk of the vendors that you've been working with are not reporting to the credit bureaus. Okay. Don't freak out if it's an F. This means you need to just get more trade lines reporting. The paid version will actually give you a score, and that's where that Paydex score 90 to 80 to 70 will come into play there. So if you start off with the low score, just means you need to get more trade lines reporting and then pay the invoice earlier to build it up.
All right, because we don't like F's and D's. Like, I ain't had no F and D since high school. So.
You had no F and D?
Right. You guys know how we do it. We like to keep it light around here. So yeah, we want to get out of that F and D range, and we want to get to the A+ and B range. Man, how can we, if we want to building our business credit, what do we need to do? How can we reach you? How can we get in contact with you?
Well, get in contact with me. I'm a new vendor with Asria, so our monthly meetings that are just killer meetings. Definitely we're going to have a booth there. Come and check us out, check me out, check out at Asria. And also businesscreditworks.com is my website. I have it set up where you can do Zoom appointments or phone calls. And right now my office is located on the Central and Thomas in the co-working space there. But I think the first year I'm going to be moving. So website would be the best because I've got my team members on there also, businesscreditworks.com. I'm the very first one if you want to speak to me to set a Zoom or a phone consultation. And there's no charge for Asria for the consultations. Just talk about business credit. And then we can go over the programs that we have available and get a snapshot of your deal, where you're at in your credit file. Because like I said, I've been doing mortgages and operations for 20+ years. It's all about that credit file. That credit file is going to dictate my next moves and how I'm going to advise you and coach you what to do through it. And just trust the process, because it's been around forever, guys. We just have not been aware that that's an option for us. We're thinking, oh, I'm not a big corporation. Well, every business has their sales department. The sales guys, they expense all that stuff, the write-offs, the separation of your personal and your business, and just driving home the point. Divorce you from your company. Because if something happens to you and you've maxed out your personal credit cards, you just left your family in a world of hurt.
Yep.
Okay, that's too much risk to the family because the lending institutions, they don't care, it's business.
Absolutely.
So we have to educate ourselves with the knowledge and empowerment to do things differently because tomorrow's not promised.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Love it.
think of what Darryl just said. You partnered Darryl with one of the ASRIA CPAs, man, you will be, and then partner with one of the hard money lenders or one of the lenders. Come on, guys. It's so easy for you to definitely get out there and get your next deal and start making some money. So there's no excuse. You know, ASRIA and Mike has set everything up for you guys so you can definitely be successful. So throw all of the excuses out the window. Come to the monthly meetings. You know, you'll get a chance to meet all of these people, you know, right there. We're all personable. We love to shake hands. We love to talk. So come out, meet Darryl. But instead of waiting until the monthly meeting, go to Business Credit Works, schedule that free consultation with Darryl, man, and let's get started. Let's get going.
And also too, check out the ASRIA website because we have monthly meetings, daily. It's like 15, 18 events a month.
Yes, sir.
And I usually go to all of them to network and talk to people, and I'm a sponge because it's so much information in that room, especially for our new people, because we've got attorneys that are members of the ASRIA family. A to Z is one-stop shopping to get you up and running and do it smartly because you're leveraging everybody's knowledge in that room.
There you go.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you for being here, Darryl. Yeah, that's a wrap, man. We'll see you. Hopefully you stay warm out there in Kansas City, and
I'll
hopefully
be back Thursday. Yep, I'll be back in the warmth.
I love it.
All right, guys. Thank you so
Thank you,
much
guys.
for listening to another episode of the ASRIA Show. As you know, we air every week. So make sure you subscribe, like, and be a member.
What day of the week, Marcus, do we air? Do you know?
Friday.
Friday. All right. Cool.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the ASRIA Show with your hosts, Marcus Maloney and Mike Delpreet. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you found this information valuable, head over to asria.org and learn more about our community.